In the quiet hilly village of Amangba, nestled deep in the eastern part of Nigeria, lived a young girl named Ugochi. Her name meant God's eagle, and she was known for her resilience. But behind the smile that charmed the villagers, Ugochi carried a burden heavier than any child could bear. At just 7 years old, she lost her parents to a tragic accident, leaving her alone in a world that suddenly felt too big. The community, although close-knit, viewed her as a child of bad luck. Her mother, Ifunanya, was the village's most beloved seamstress, while her father, Okechukwu, worked the land tirelessly. Together they were a perfect example of love, harmony, and hard work. That changed one rainy night when a violent storm caused a massive tree to fall on their mud house, taking their lives in one cruel blow. Orphaned and vulnerable, Ugochi was taken in by her aunt, Mama Nkechi, a stern woman with 4 children of her own. While the villagers praised her for taking in the orphan, Mama Nkechi saw Ugochi as an extra mouth to feed. She did not hesitate to show her resentment through constant scolding and assigning Ugochi the most difficult chores. Despite her struggles, Ugochi's spirit remained unbroken. She often found solace in the small things, drawing patterns in the dirt with a stick, watching the birds sing in the trees, and listening to the folk tales that filled the village nights. Ugochi knew that life was more than what she saw. Her parents had always told her she was destined for something great. Yet life with Mama Nkechi grew harder. With each passing day, the woman would complain loudly about Ugochi's presence, making it clear to anyone who would listen that she wasn't her responsibility. This girl is a curse. Ever since she came to live with us, bad luck had followed this household, Mama Nkechi often muttered. Her own children mirrored her attitude, treating Ugochi like an outcast. One afternoon, when the sun was high and the air heavy with promise of rain, Ugochi was sent to fetch water from the village stream. The path to the stream was narrow and windy, bordered by thick forest that always seemed to whisper secrets as the wind rustled through the trees. It was on this path that Ugochi first met an old woman, stooped over and dressed in rags, sitting on a fallen log. The woman had a mysterious air about her, with eyes that seemed to pierce through Ugochi's soul. Nwam, the old woman called out in Igbo, her voice soft yet commanding. Come sit with me for a moment. Though apprehensive, Ugochi obeyed. There was something about the woman that intrigued her, as if she had been waiting for this moment. You are not alone as you think, the old woman said. Her wrinkled hands clasped together. Your parents may be gone, but their spirit lives on, and so does your destiny. Startled, Ugochi looked up at the woman, tears welling in her eyes. How do you know about my parents? She said. I know many things, child. I know that your heart is pure, and I know the pain you have endured. But remember this, the eagle does not stay grounded for long. You are destined to rise. Before Ugochi could ask more, the woman had handed her a small, intricately carved wooden bird. Its wings spread as if ready to take flight. Keep this with you, the woman said. When the time is right, it will show you the way. With that, the old woman stood and walked away. disappearing into the forest as if she had never been there. Ugochi clutched the wooden bird tightly in her hand, feeling a strange sense of hope wash over her. The days turned into weeks, and though life with Mama Nkechi remained hard, Ugochi carried the old woman's words with her. She kept the wooden bed close, often sneaking away to the edge of the forest to study it in the quiet moments when no one was watching. There was something magical about it, something that felt alive. One evening, as the village prepared for the annual New Yam festival, Ugochi was sent on another errand to the market. The festival was a time of celebration, with drumming, dancing, and feasting that brought the entire village together. Yet Ugochi felt like an outsider. Her orphan status, always a reminder that she did not belong. As she walked, she saw a group of children laughing and playing, and her heart ached to be a part of their joy. Suddenly, she heard a familiar voice. Mwam, it's time. Startled, Ugochi turned to find the old woman standing by the market gate. She hadn't seen her since that day by the stream, but the woman's presence felt like a warm embrace. Time for what? Ugochi asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Time to embrace who you truly are. Take the wooden bed and place it at the foot of the old Iroko tree in the center of the village. Do this before the sun sets, and your path will be revealed. Without another word, the old woman vanished again into the crowd. Ugochi, heart pounding, ran back home to retrieve the wooden bird. Clutching it tightly, she made her way to the Iroko tree, a towering presence that stood at the heart of the village. It was said that the tree was as old as the village itself, a silent witness to generations of life, death, and rebirth. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, Ugochi knelt at the base of the tree and placed the wooden bed on the ground. For a moment, nothing happened, but then a soft glow began to emanate from the bed, growing brighter and brighter until it was blinding. Suddenly, the ground beneath her trembled, and the air filled with a strange hum. Ugochi stumbled back as the wooden bed began to grow, its wings expanding until it transformed into a magnificent eagle. The bird let out a piercing cry, its eyes locking onto Ugochi's. Without a word, it took a flight, circling the trees once before soaring into the sky. Ugochi's heart raced as she watched the eagle disappear into the clouds. But then, as the glow faded, something even more extraordinary happened. The villagers who had gathered for the festival stared in awe as the eagle's cry echoed through the air. One by one, they began to whisper her name, realizing that something miraculous had just occurred. Mama Nkechi, who had been among the crowd, rushed forward, her face pale. What have you done, Ugochi? She demanded, her voice trembling with fear. But Ugochi didn't respond. She couldn't, for at that moment the old woman appeared once more, but this time she was not alone. Standing beside her were Ugochi's parents, their faces glowing with pride. We have always been with you, Ugochi, her father said, his voice filled with love. You were never alone. Her mother smiled softly, placing a hand on Ugochi's shoulder. The eagle in you has awakened, my child. You are destined for greatness. With that, they slowly faded, leaving Ugochi standing alone beneath the Iroko tree. But she no longer felt the weight of loneliness. The villagers, now understanding the truth of who Ugochi was, approached her with reverence. Their attitude towards her transformed. Mama Nkechi, overcome with guilt, fell to her knees. "Forgive me, Ugochi," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I was wrong to treat you the way I did. You're truly special." Ugochi, with the wisdom that far surpassed her years, simply smiled. "It is not too late to change," she said softly. From that day on, Ugochi's life in Amampa was different. No longer the orphan outcast, she became a symbol of hope and resilience in the village. The wooden bed, now a revered artifact, was placed at the foot of the Iroko tree, a reminder to all that even in the darkest of times, the eagle within can rise and soar above. Years passed and Ugochi grew into a strong, wise woman, loved by all who knew her. The old woman who had guided her through her journey was never seen again, but Ugochi knew in her heart that she was always watching over her. And so, the legend of Ugochi, the girl who rose from the ashes of sorrow to become the pride of her village, lived on for generations, inspiring all who had it to believe in their own strength and the power of destiny. But little did anyone know the true twist lay in Ugochi's own discovery. The old woman, the mysterious guide who had led her to her destiny, was not a mere villager, but the spirit of her great-grandmother, an eagle herself, who had watched over the family for centuries, ensuring that each generation rose higher than the one before. And that's the end of our story, An Orphan Child. In this tale, we followed Ugochi, a young girl who faced loss, hardship, and rejection, but ultimately found strength, love, and her true destiny. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring and heartwarming content. We look forward to sharing our more amazing stories with you. Thank you.